Hello and welcome back to Shelf Centered. This is Bryce, and woo, boy do I have a video for you today. This is my anticipated releases in fantasy and science fiction for next year. It's kind of a big list. I didn't even count it up. Maybe I will at one point. Editing Bryce. This is huge. It's a huge list. So these are going to be a lot of books that I am very excited for. Whether I've read the series or not, or whether I just think that my audience might be something that they're interested in or already interested in. Regardless, I definitely am interested in these, even if I haven't read the author before. And so that's kind of my approach here. If I find some more releases that I did not catch on this one, I'll probably do a follow-up video here. It's early enough in the month. I'm always weary. I've shouted my complaints about the Goodreads Choice Awards starting in October often, or at least November, like early November. You have like Spotify going, hey, here's your year in review on like November 30th. It's like, or December 1st, as if December is not a month. I'm getting triggered here, okay? So anyway, without any further ado, I do want to talk about the releases for 2023 that I am excited for. Here we go. Going by month, or I will save my unclassified for the very end. But starting with January, we've got quite a month right off the bat. The Sapphire Altar by David Dalglish. This is number 2 in the Vagrant Gods series. The Bladed Faith looks really good. I tried to read some David Dalglish in the past and have not. It was something, I don't know if it was just probably me. I wasn't in the right mood for it, but I feel like this is a series that's right up my alley. And in the first book really kind of screams Segula to me from the Malazan Empire. So anyway, that's the longest, hopefully, that I will spend on any of these books. All right, then we've got The Keeper's 6 by Kate Elliott. Kate Elliott is kind of I don't know, I feel like one of those authors that is just a kind of classic in fantasy, and a stalwart, kind of produces lots and lots of content and books. I just haven't read anything. I mean, there's the Crown of Stars, I think, series. That's pretty epic, and I've seen on a lot of bookshelves, so one of those I need to get into. That's why I'm looking forward to, hopefully, that. We've got The Tale of the Border Knight. That is looks like a novella by A.R. Witham. This was one where the Legend of Jack Black really enjoyed this year, just recently, and so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Also a January release. Then we've got Of War and Ruin. This is in the Bound and the Broken series, number 3 by Ryan Cahill. This is, I've slowly accumulated the books, as I am wont to do, but I've not read any. It's just that every one of my friends seems to say that it's a great series, so I have every expectation of loving it. I hope that's the case. Then we've got A Shade of Madness. This is book 2 in the Ashes of Averin, and I might be mispronouncing that, but that's by Thiago Abdallah, and that is the sequel to a book that's been really kind of making the rounds. And then I think for some reason I went into a self-published section of this, but and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I Do Will Sin by Daniel T. Jackson. That is Illborn number 2. Again, heard a lot of great things about Illborn. A lot of people have been shouting the praises, and it's definitely on my list. And already a sequel right there coming out. Continuing on in the vein of self-published, we've got The Shadow Gate, which is Dragon Spirits number 2 by L.L. McRae. I have the first book. I will be reading that. That is probably something I'm going to be reading in January, so that actually might be good to just also jump into book 2. That's one of those that have the book, and again, lots of praise on book Twitter and booktube, so definitely checking that out. Then we have Children of Memory by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This will not be the first Tchaikovsky on the list. Again, an author that I can't believe I have not read, and when everybody literally sings the praises constantly of this author. All right, finally, moving on from January into February, we've got The Delve by Dan Fitzgerald. This is one that I actually have a couple Dan Fitzgerald books, and this is just one of them, of course, but definitely want to check out more from Dan Fitzgerald. Then we've got 11th Cycle, Mistland number 1, by Kian and Ardalan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not, but look at that cover. Oh my gosh. I mean, the extra set of arms alone, but the mask, everything, it's got everything going for it. And again, it's also been highly praised in the reviews that I've read so far. Then we got The Game of 100 Candles, Marie Brennan. This is a Legend of the Five Rings book. One of the reasons I'm putting this on there, I've read one other Marie Brennan book. It's the something about dragons. Anyway, the dragon series that, you know, scientifically studying these dragons. I reviewed it poorly, but I tried to you know, put it on myself because this is one of those I can acknowledge the craft is there. Lots of people love the series. I just found that I love dragons, and as much as I love dragons, I don't love them as they are studied, if they're studied for science. That just didn't work for me. But I want to give the author another chance because I don't feel like I've gotten a full chance out there. We've got Hopeland by Ian MacDonald. This is just one that MacDonald's been on my list for a while, and just seems to be one of those, like, what is it, Walter John Williams, just produces a lot, is well reviewed, and just is probably not as popular as they should be. But I don't know. I wouldn't know. All right, then we got The Tyranny of Faith. This is the follow-up to The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. Just, again, everybody says the best things about these books, so they're definitely on my list. And look at that cover. It's a great cover, great follow-up from the last one. There's The Shadow Casket by Chris Wooding. Chris Wooding is just a great author. I've read a number of his books. They are amazing. I've put off reading the first book in the series. What is it? The Emperor's Blade or something. Anyway, the first book in the Darkwater Legacy. And just because I knew that this one alone, the sequel, was taking a while, let alone, and I think it might just be a duology, as far as I understand it. So I was just kind of waiting for this. So now, what a better time to jump into the whole series than now. All right, then we got Emperor of Ruin, and that's number 3 in the Burning Blade and Silver Edge series. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but by Django Wexler. Django's another author, has just been really, I found his Twitter threads are just very thoughtful a lot of times, going into kind of issues with certain movies and whatnot, and I appreciate that. So I've appreciated just his thoughtful approach to just things, so I'm assuming that I'm going to enjoy his books, but I have not, so let me know where to start for Wexler. All right, then jumping into March. We've got a number, The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I had to read that one. That's by Shannon Chakraborty. Just the cover alone kind of is getting me. I know Chakraborty's gotten a lot of good praise for another series, so but this one looks maybe like a good place to jump in and see. Maybe I don't even know if it's a standalone. I might be assuming that, but it seems cool. Then we got Dead Country. This is Craft Wars #1 by Max Gladstone. Max Gladstone gets a lot of praise. I own, again, a number of books and need to read some. For once in my life, read a book that you've actually bought. What is my problem? Then we got The Faithless, Magic of the Lost #2 by C.L. Clarke. Again, just a series that's been thrown around a bunch and gotten some praise, and so I want to check it out. Finally, in March, for my March picks, we've got The Keep Within by J.L. Warad. This is one pretty much I'm going off the cover. The cover just kind of gets me, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Count me in. All right, April, we've got The Basilisk Throne by Greg Keyes. And Great Keys is one of those that I'm surprised it's not more popular, but I know, the what is it, Kingdom and Thorn and Bone series is, it kind of like started off really well, and not everyone loves the ending there, but just always been on my list since then. Then we've got Engines of Chaos, Age of Uprising #1 by R.S. Ford. I have the first book. I won in like some giveaway or something earlier this year. If you can believe it, all kinds of things have gotten in my way, especially my TBR, which is just really a thorn in my side. But I definitely need to get on it. I've heard a lot of good things, but Engines of Chaos is on my list. Already has another one out, so that's good. Then we got Wraithbound, Spiritbinder Saga #1 by Tim Akers. I'll be honest, this is another cover. Cover got me. Cover, look at that. It's this just giant, like, demon creature. I don't even know anything about it, but it looks cool. Forge of the High Mage, Path to Ascendancy #4 by Ice, by Ian Cameron Esselmont. Of course, I've got a Malazan book on my list. This is the one that lots of controversy around using, and I don't think it's ever been disputed, but that there was AI used for the artwork on the front. Now, I don't know where you stand on it. I don't know if anyone's like pro AI, to be honest. But I think the cover looks fine if you don't know it's AI, and if you do, then it's just kind of frustrating, to say the least. And it's like, why can't we just have an artist do it? Anyway, it like, if you don't think about it, but the problem is once you know, then it's like that, I don't know, Princess and the Pea or something. Is it worse than that? It's frustrating. It's a frustrating road to go down if this is what covers are coming to. I don't want any part of it. Let's just say that much. All right, then we got Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. Fonda Lee's become a recent fave. The Jade War, Jade City, Jade War I just read. Holy cow. Fonda Lee can write. Fonda Lee has won World Fantasy Awards, and deservedly so. And I am all on board. Fonda Lee has become a must-read author for me, absolutely. Then we got The Bone Shard War, The Drowning Empire #3 by Andrea Stewart. The Stewart's one that's gotten a new deal on books here coming up. Kind of a big deal, I think, with Orbit, I want to say. And so now I definitely, with that kind of a deal, I need to be checking out what she's got out there already. All right, then Red Team Blues by Cory Doctorow. Cory Doctorow is one of those that's just kind of been prolific in a way, and I just haven't read anything, so maybe that is the one, but I thought people might want to know if you are a Cory Doctorow fan, and let me know where to start with him. All right, then we got Talmuth, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm going with kind of a German pronunciation. Taltos, Vlad Taltos, #16 by Stephen Brust. Like, that's quite a few. Trying to get ahead of Dresden Files or something, I don't know. I kind of compare the two series. I have read book 1, Jerrig, and I liked it. It's fun. It's just kind of like a mystery detective almost, but definitely a mystery kind of thing, but with a companion as a small dragon, so it's pretty fun. Then we got In the Lives of Puppets by T.L. Clune, and that's just, T.L. Clune's kind of gotten on my radar with a number of books lately, and you've most likely heard of him. What is it? Under the Whispering Door, The House at the End of the Cerulean Sea. I'm getting this completely wrong. Sorry, but anyway, I just keep hearing a lot of praise, so figured someone out there might want to know that there's another book coming out.
Editing Bryce here. Somehow forgot my most anticipated book of the year, arguably at least. That would be Brent Weeks' Night Angel Nemesis. There's a new Night Angel book, you better believe I'm going to be on it. Love that original trilogy. Lovingly, with all of its warts and everything. It's just great.
Getting into May. May, we've got The Ferryman by Justin Cronin, author of a good vampire series that I would recommend. And just so more out. Then we got the Pyres of Vengeance. I talked about this cover not too long ago, and I actually got an artist that I can link here. I could mention because NC Cusis reached out and said, "Hey, here's the artist for that." So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Cusis. So I now know, because I love that artwork here. And again, I'm kind of going based solely on the artwork. That's what makes me want to read it. All right, I promised more Tchaikovsky. This is Lords of Uncreation, Final Architecture, number 3. Again, Tchaikovsky, just prolific, my word. 2 books just in 1 year, maybe more. What are you, Brandon Sanderson? And I know he can write both fantasy and science fiction. I've heard praises on both, maybe even more so in science fiction. But anyway, I want to read both. We've got The Sword, Deviant, Lords of the Firstborn, number 1. Gareth Hanrahan. This is one that the Gutter Prayer, I think, came out to a lot of fanfare, a lot of people liking that one, and so I figured you might want to know that there's more coming from the author. Then we got March's End by Daniel Polanski. Lowtown was the last Polanski book I read, and definitely well done. One of the things for Polanski is that I've heard authors sing his praises. He's kind of like an author's author with how he's able to do things in ways that impress authors. I wish I had the knowledge to be more impressed, but I already was pretty impressed. But I don't know to the level of an author being impressed, having a terrible ability to not write, terrible ability to write, not being able to write, we'll say that. Then we got Fractal Noise, the Fractalverse, number 2, Christopher Paolini. Thought I'd throw that out there. A lot of Paolini fans I know out there. But an interesting, going with, fantasy is his bread and butter with the Aragon series, and then going science fiction here. And we got The Book That Wouldn't Burn, the first in that same series by Mark Lawrence. Mark Lawrence is, I'm a fan. He just keeps writing faster than I can keep up with, but I love the Broken Empire series. I know it's controversial, but I just think he's like Abercrombie Light, and that might be being not giving him enough credit. It's more just to say, like, I think he writes with very quotable lines and really good kind of themes that kind of come to the fore. And so I'm going to go with Abercrombie Light. I think that's fair enough to say because the comparison is apt, and maybe he's even Abercrombie heavy. I don't know. Because I haven't read everything. I have read almost everything from Abercrombie, and I can tell you that they kind of have a similar vibe, right? Grimdark, but with grimdark, but with kind of like almost cheeky characters, but then I don't know, just really quotable lines. I feel like, and I already said that, but just really well written dialogue too. And we got The Malevolent 7 by Sebastian de Castell, not to be confused with The Maleficent 7 that I believe came out this year. But anyway, just anything from de Castell I'm interested in just producing books after books. This isn't even the first book of the whole year that will come from de Castell. Then we got the Will of the Many. This is a new series by James Islington. I know a lot of people love that. A lot of people love his first kind of debut trilogy. It was kind of, I should probably read it, but it's just on the long end for me. And also, not that I'm intimidated by a long series, but it just felt like I heard it was a travel log. I'm probably way off, but there just comes a point where you have to cut good stuff out. I'm trying to cut bad stuff out, but also there comes a point where you can't even read all the good stuff. It's a beautiful place to be. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I can only get to so much, and that was one where it's kind of, you got to cut something out. And then we got The Witch King, or Witch King, I don't think there's a the, by Martha Wells. Martha Wells is just a murder bot. I just read the first one. It was brilliant. I loved it. Hilarious. Anyway, I'm just so glad to see Wells kind of getting the credit she deserves. She's been writing for a while, and it's like finally things are hitting. It feels like. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, June. June, we got The Woods of Arcady, Sanctuary of the White Friars, number 2. I did not even know there was a first one, but by Michael Moorcock. I love Moorcock's Elric series. I am 3 books into that, and they're just excellently done, although I'm a little frustrated with his opinions on Tolkien, but hey, he's welcome to have opinions. I'm not going to just not read him because he doesn't like one of my favorite authors, whatever. We can agree to disagree. And then there's The Combat Codes by Alexander Darwin. This is one that self-published turned published. I love seeing that happen. It just keeps happening more and more. People kind of see these you know, the success, and then they go, hey, we're happy to publish you. And I'm sure there's lots more that are just not going that route because they're doing so well being self-published too. And I'm guessing Cradle is one of those, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We got July. We only had a couple at least that have been announced, right? This is only, we're getting deeper into the year, so it'll be announced as the year goes on. But The Traitor, this is Covenant of Steel number 3 by Anthony Ryan, starting with The Pariah. The Pariah I did get from NetGalley and haven't read it, and therefore I need to, and I feel like obligated to get this on my list. Then there's Blade of Dream, Kithmar number 2 by Daniel Abraham. Daniel Abraham, Long Price Quartet, can't say enough good things about it. Abraham's just an auto-buy author for me, easy. Not to mention The Expanse, right? And then there's Lightbringer. Lightbringer was a big one. Red Rising number 6 by Pierce Brown. I'm excited. I know that I've been learning there's a bit of a split opinion. It's still a very popular series, of course, but there's a split opinion on the second series. Some like it more, some like it less. It's gonna happen. Then we got Thick as Thieves, the sequel to Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn. I heard a lot of good things about Among Thieves, so Thick as Thieves is definitely on my radar.
Editing Bryce here, and I forgot a couple more here. It's only the A months apparently, so I forgot a whole August, but in August we have, and again maybe this is because I've already mentioned these in previous videos, but this is The Generation Ship and then The Phoenix King. So those are 2 that I'm definitely looking forward to for next year.
All right, then September, we've got our second book from Sebastian de Castell, Play of Shadows, A Court of Shadows number 1. Just interesting. I don't really know much about it, but it's Sebastian de Castell. That's why he's on the list. Then November, we're skipping months. That's how, well, you learn about more books end of the year as the year goes on, probably by mid-year. The Navigator's Children, The Kings of Osten-Ard, or Last King of Osten-Ard, number 4 by Tad Williams. Figured you might want to know about it. I still have to give Tad Williams another chance. I tried Otherland. I did 2 of the books, of the monstrosities of books, and it was good, but it wasn't enough to make me go, I gotta finish this. But I promised myself I'm gonna read the Dragonbone Chair as like a pillar of fantasy. All right, then we got the unknowns that I'm excited about and wanted to talk about. The first unknown, but I think we're probably close to a date, but the first unknown is Waybound, Cradle, number 12 by Will White. Speaking of Cradle, he did say in his blog post that he announced that it wasn't going to be done by the end of this year, but that he also kind of said, that it's out to alpha readers, right? So that's the kind of first before even the beta readers. So it's at least it's completed. It still needs editing and everything, and to just get all those any inconsistencies or anything worked through. But then he also made a statement that he might have 3 books out because he tries to get 1 book out every 6 months. So he might have 3 books out in 2023. All that is, and then he kind of says, okay, I don't want to, I'm not going to be crazy either. I'm not going to do 3 books if that just doesn't work. So all that I'm gathering from it is that it seems like Waybound is going to be at the first quarter of the year, is my guess. Song of the Mysteries, number 11 of the Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wirtz. I'm guessing we're going to get a date in this year. The editing seems to be going really well, and it's almost there. It's almost fully edited, and then it's got to go through still some processes, but I'm sure we'll get a date I'm guessing we're going to have a date 2023, 2024 at the very latest, I would imagine. Then there's a guess. This is just a guess. Empire the Vampire #2. Tried to search around. Jake Kristoff. I tried to search around. There wasn't really a lot of information out about it. Goodreads definitely didn't help. It didn't even have a title, so we'll see. But Kristoff seems to kind of put out some books in a reasonable time period, unlike some authors I'm not mentioning, because there used to be a time where I'd do an anticipated books list and I'd include Doors of Stone or Winds of Winter, and I'm laughing because I just don't even do it anymore, and there's no sense going down that road. But ones I didn't mention because I think everybody knows, but anyway, I guess I should mention. There are, and I've already announced it, but the 4 secret projects from Brandon Sanderson. Depending on if you're in the Kickstarter, we're looking at, January or February was the new announcement. Even though, originally the plan was January, it's just so overwhelming that it might be the way that they have to ship everything out is it's probably going to go, some are going to get theirs in February, but then the Tor production schedule will be that first book that comes out for the Kickstarter pledges, or whatever you want to call it, are getting it in January-ish, and then the Tor will be April, right? And so then I believe then, and anyway, they go down from there. So every quarter, then the beginning of the quarter essentially will be the next Kickstarter secret project, and then the end of the quarter, it seems to be, will be then the Tor published for for mass consumption at that point. So those are the ones I guess I could have included, but I didn't because I'm lazy, I guess. Sorry. But anyway, what are you looking forward to? What did I miss? I'm sure it was a ton, but this is already the longest video I've made that isn't a live stream. So let me know, and like I said, I'm happy to do a follow-up video, so let me know if there's things that I missed, which I'm sure there's tons. Those are what I'm interested in. Those are what I'm looking at. Highly recommend checking those out, seeing what you will like. And again, please let me know, because I'm always looking for the next great read, and I'm going to prioritize a 5-star read over a 4-star. Okay, so thank you so much for stopping by. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.